like 0.07, he's hype beasting. But anyway, it's time for the pistol. Okay, XANTARES. Yeah, I've had a few players ask if they could borrow skins. Like, go buy your skin, man. Salaries you got. Some players who aren't really active right now, a little dodgy when it comes to that kind of thing. But anyway, Big holding down the ramp. There's a pop flash. We've got 3 players here. smooya will distract Magisk. He will fall elsewhere. Big need to start off on the right foot on the CT side of Nuke versus a team like Astralis. There's Glaive out in the main position. Then it was dupreeh and Device. Now, there are 3 players. 2 of these players have been headshots, so there is damage to be done here. This can still turn around. That's a great way to start. 2 versus 5 to a 2 versus 2, and there's plenty of time on the clock. Device entertaining while dupreeh rotates the bomb.
Yeah, this really sucks for Nex, doesn't it? 9 HP, 1 bullet, and he's dead. And they're sticking together more or less, so yeah, it's not going to work out for him. Old 1-0 start for Astralis on the T side. Seen some good T sides and some bad CT sides recently on this map, so hopefully for Big, they'll have a strong response eventually when they get some money. But it is Astralis, and I'm really curious to see what T-side Astralis are going to show us here today.
You see how Device backed up there before he takes the second shot? I wonder how much do players actually think about putting the angles in their favor mid-battle? The right eye peek backing up. Probably not much, subconscious, but still, here we go, upper run.
Good stuff. Tizian definitely has some great aim on it, but the kills will be coming through eventually for Astralis, and XANTARES will make his way up towards heaven. Flash goes out. Will that be affected? The second one as well. I think it will miss all the players. I think they expected some behind the silos, but they have fallen back towards the hut. Another headshot with the Eagle coming through. XANTARES trying to spin around, trying to find a way to adjust to this chaotic situation. And we do have a very tough situation on our hands. 12 HP on XANTARES. Okay, well, if he finds his way out of this one, I don't know what to say. Device is ready and waiting, and he will manage to take him down. XANTARES always looking dangerous. He is, that's good, that's what you want to see.
I just want to say, for the pistol round, when it's a 2 versus 5 like that, people, I think people at home will be like, oh my god, they threw it around their crap. It's not really, like, that's the nature of a pistol round, especially when you've got 2 guys who've been headshot and they're like on 10 HP. It is by no means is it over. No one has a helmet. Everybody can get popped. Pistol rounds are high variance, especially on a map such as Nuke. You don't have all the necessary angles in every situation to clean up, so that kind of thing can happen.
Also has some really sick aimers on Big. They're always going to be dangerous, but Astralis weather the storm, and definitely looking to make this round clean. So far, so good. Only 2 players remaining, and now just 1. I don't know that they are aware of smooya's position. Their current movement would suggest that they are not. And smooya might be in a good spot to get a kill here, which would be nice for Big. Oh,
I love how aware
guess they do
Apex
know.
is.
That was a pretty good nade.
Creek party begins.
Now it's time to save the creek. Actually a huge win if he's able to do it. I don't know that he will be able to. They are hunting him, and they're coming from both sides too, so might be difficult for him. Okay, well, Magisk doesn't see him in time.
There's a bomb not planted yet.
They were giving themselves more time to hunt him down, I guess.
It's a dangerous hunt, though.
It is quite
It's a dangerous hunt, man.
Yeah.
So many corners. Yeah, he doesn't want to risk losing the weapon. So he will fall back. Again, the water under this glass is coolant for expired nuclear rods. Once they are no longer of purpose for a power station or something, they get put in coolant like this to keep them at a temperature where they can be controlled. Some trivia for you guys.
And also the water helps to contain the radiation.
That true. That too.
Yeah. I think it does it as like a really significant amount of containment of radiation.
Yeah, it's really cold. I don't know if it's just water or some kind of liquid mixture. Different liquids have different freezing temperatures. Next, trying to stop a play into the vent, unable to do so. I'm surprised he didn't get a kill there, but tabseN will certainly pick something up, more than one in fact. Device and Zipex remain. War of attrition in round number 4. So far it goes the way of Big. They know one player is in the lower area, so maybe Zipex needs to play off of Device. smooya swinging wide of the USP, knows he's low. Device wasn't in position to help. Does he check the CT vent? He does. tabseN gets absolutely wrecked. Still 2 players that are a question mark though. There's a flank from the Heart. XANTARES running distraction, and Device will surely moonwalk into his doom. Oh no, there's been a swing into the squeaky position. Last seen in Heart, rotating now is Device. 2 players were coming through from main. smooya's got the angle on the squeaky door, and 3 players will survive for Big. There are Kriegs if they want them.
I love the idea about dropping the smoke and just instant rotating. If Big don't have the presence of mind to have anybody on that position, Device gets out, and he has a spot where he can do lots of damage. But there's money still to fight back with. But given the fact that the second round was so devastating in terms of the economic damage that was accrued by Astralis, after this buy, that's it. That's a wrap. So they need to Astralis must make this one count. Otherwise they let Big start to take momentum. Magisk on the UMP.
tabseN keeping an eye on outside. Molly on the silo. You can HE that position from inside of A in the rafters.
I don't know how I feel about that Molly on silo, because what does it really do? It helps, I guess it helps the CT get close to red and them not knowing if they can't jump Twinkie, but it's kind of a waste of a Molly overall, I think.
Yeah, $600, that's a lot of money. Astralis looking for a late smoked play outside. Tizian curious for info. It's nice how much you can strafe before you make a step. One of those extended jiggles, if you will. Now this might suggest a play into the A bomb site with these smokes close to main. tabseN isolated by the smoke grenades, won't win his duel. Clay gets his bell rung. The patience continues. Magisk up close to the UMP. Make it a 5 versus 3. Big are in trouble on the A bomb site. They're all here though. And Astralis is still overcommitting. Being very, very careful about their advantages. Smoke up in Heart. The creep continues from Device. smooya's now blind. 1 by 1 big fall with limited response. There's the first kill from XANTARES, but what is left for him to do at this point?
It's kind of crazy how impactful, the right eye peaks are in this game. It's like, it's so strong. Like Magisk's fight in Heart there, you look at, I don't know who was coming towards him. I think it was, I want to say either Nex or Tizian. Doesn't really matter too much. But Tizian, okay. So yeah, he's coming towards him, and it really looks like he's much further away from the angle. It looks like he sees the model first, but still at a disadvantage. Kind of crazy.
I love how they did the second part of that, the second wave of hitting upper as well. I think Magisk was kind of jiggling around the HUD, making a lot of noise, and then you suddenly see his teammates just flying out squeaky, and obviously if you're a CT or on Tetris, like there was one, he needs to be looking towards HUD. He hears noise, and suddenly now he's getting pinched. So those little things is kind of what this kill right here exactly. I think this is the kind of stuff Astralis is really great at. They don't give up kills for no reason, and they utilize each other really well.
They put Big in quite the pickle.
Yeah, the money's broken early for Big. So much promise with the 5 versus 2 pistol, but now it's 1-4 in terms of score. How things can turn around so quickly. Still got the Krieg on XANTARES, the hero rifle of the round. Astralis with, they've got a few ECS trophies in their cabinet, looking to add another one. Always have had great support from the family in London. Tend to have a habit of jumping over the barriers now and storming the stage. happened at the major as well. I think at this point you probably have to tell security those guys are the brothers and family, and they may start scaling things if a victory is to be had.
Well, importantly here we've got XANTARES with the Krieg on Big. It'll be interesting to see what they can accomplish here. Really baiting dupreeh, you need to be careful. Looks like he's still going to be able to get... I don't know how he loses so little health there. Looked like he was not connecting for quite some time, but unfortunately for Big, XANTARES couldn't really find value or impact at the beginning of the round, which is where you want the impact. You want it to start at the beginning when you still have teammates alive, and still have time to work with. But now Astralis have gained position on the upper bomb side. So at this point, you want to really keep this Krieg alive. Maybe get a gun for your teammate. Although XANTARES will get surprised. Speaking of which, dupreeh also surprised smooya in turn. 5-1 for Astralis. Smooth seas for them.
Yesterday we saw ATK, JT kept getting across the secret, and there Glaive did the same thing. He got down. I think he came up the vents before any of the big players even knew what was happening, and I think those are the kind of liberties we were talking about yesterday, Dan, that you can take. Just by knowing what your teammate has, he has your back, you're not going to get flanked from secret. It's great to see.
I wonder if there's a certain spawn of the random spawns on the T side where you could jump throw the outside smokes immediately and rush secret. That'd be a cool spawn-based strat. 4 CTs remain. smooya will catch device hopping up over the smoke. Magisk has indeed made his way towards secret, forcing rotation from Big. They're spread thin now with 4 players. Magisk in a very forward position. XANTARES not realizing that the doors were open perhaps, or wondering what's going on. Area control from Magisk. He is doing a hell of a lot on his own. His team are behind him now. He's taken so much position. There could be a pop flash for him. He's going beyond this. He's just Wing all the way. Awkward angles, but Nex has no idea where to look, and Big are being dismantled round after round by Astralis. Looking really strong on Nuke so far.
That's so good. One of the great things about Astralis as well is that they're really good at not overcomplicating things.
Hold on a second. It's a 2 versus 1 now. They started to hunt, but Zipex he's a careful man. He's a steady pair of hands. He's a clutch minister. I did wonder if they would go for it, but they don't have kits, which probably makes a difference. Please carry on that.
Yeah, so we talk a lot about teams overcomplicating things, and Astralis, a team that are by far the most qualified to complicate things and to have very advanced rounds. They know when it needs to be simple and when it doesn't need to be simple, and they never really go and they never really trip over themselves like so many teams tend to. And that's another thing that I think is not talked about as much.
I do think the complicated part of what they do is the thinking that goes into making things simple.
Right.
And when to do something simple and when to do something a little bit more complex. I think that is, they're obviously doing a lot of thinking, and that's where it comes in. I see another, no, we're not.
Challenge towards ramp is going to send XANTARES down, so the rotation is there. He can't get the kill just yet. He's going to have one more chance, and he will get taken down without a frag. And so this round is likely just over. And I love the pacing here from Astralis, because unless you're running into a stack, if you get past that one choke point, you're going to get the bomb down. And once you get the bomb down in a round like this, the likelihood of the other team having any answer for you is, it just plummets very quickly. And so I think fast plays against anti-ecos or rounds like this, where they don't have much utility or where they've only saved 1 or 2 guns, I think it's really strong.
Astralis move to number 7. Again, Big probably aiming to win this 1 in 3. Wonder if Gobby watches the matches. I don't know what he's doing. I don't know if he's part of the organization beyond being on the bench, or what his status is. I want to see him playing though. I don't want him to see him retire, to be honest. I think he has he definitely still has utility on a team, at least in North America. I mean, there's a lack of in-game leaders, strong in-game leaders, I think. I think there's opportunity out there for him, depending on what kind of lifestyle he wants. Not everybody can hack it internationally. Cultural differences or just comforts at home. But anyway, Big are back on the buy. Very fast play into Secret from the CTs on this occasion. dupreeh with the KZ on the roof. Zepex will get taken out. A forward play from XANTARES. Big trying to take the game to Astralis. And maybe this is an advantage they'll try to sit on. It's increased as Glaive gets taken out outside, but Device is pretty damn quick on XANTARES with AWP. The action continues now. smooya a jump peek. Spots one of the last two players on top of Mini. dupreeh's fallen off. Trying to make some flashes towards main, but I think Next has got the angle for this. The Krieg won't be enough. That leaves Device to do what he can. He's collected a Krieg himself. Spots Next wide. The bomb's still in T-spawn. I'm sure the Big don't know this, and he has a minute on the clock, so he has a fair chance to get a 1 versus 1 here, Device.
Zepex is 0 for 6, meanwhile Device 16 for 2. It's pretty mental. That is crazy. And there it is. Collects the bomb. He'll walk his way all the way back to the lobby. He's enjoying the classic knife, it seems. Looking for that next kill. No idea where next player is. He might be... He keeps walking. Could be quite fortunate here, but of course he's just going to go for the drop. The silent drop, actually. And he has just enough time to make this work. Device has not really wasted any time here. And he's going to get himself a lower plant. A 1 versus 2. He's got a couple flashes and a molly. This is definitely on for Device.
He's left the door open, which makes them wonder where he might be. Now he got some info. Opens control. Taken an off angle. Will there be a 2-man swing? Which way will they look? He could be in control, but smooya has control. And a second round for Big.
Speaking of, what you were mentioning there earlier, Valens, like that was, Device was definitely not in a favorable angle for a peak to come from that position. So at least there, perhaps you're proving correct. Maybe he would have wanted a different position because that was the only information he had was one player was there. Obviously, he was taking a position for decontamination room as well.
Yeah, I think he wanted to do an element of surprise there. Some weird angle that they're not going to expect, but that's a really tough round to win for him.
Got some extra damage at least.
I wonder if you'll see the bomb dropped on T-roof again.
I rewatched that a few times just last night. It was just so weird. It's one of the weirdest things I've seen.
I feel bad for Complexity to some degree, especially for Death, because the clip on Reddit that doesn't show that the bomb was on the roof in the first place or that he got a 2K on his way to Squeaky, so it's kind of doesn't really tell the whole story there. It was pretty crazy,
honestly,
the way it unfolded, but
I don't think I could ever play on that team, like, even if I was a professional player. Just because I think the pressure levels of pressure to perform like out of the gate, I think that's really difficult.
I think it depends on the org you're playing for, though. Because if you're playing for like an MIBR or something where they have a long history of success in recent CS:GO and a very big and vocal fan base, and then you're going to have a lot more pressure than a team who are basically rebuilding and don't have necessarily the fan base they're used to at this point.
Oh.
So it could be a hell of a lot worse, but it might get worse for Big as once again they're on the back foot. Astralis creeping all over, all around the B bomb site at the moment. They will, I'm sure, deal with these choke points. Molotovs everywhere. Look at the details. It's great to watch. But how will they deal with smooya? Molly towards control. The grenades have come and gone. This is the stronger side of the ramp for CTs to peek, but also dangerous because of expectation. Spots one at the back plant. No bomb plant just yet for Astralis. A tabseN here as well. He will fall and smooya takes his place. 3 players remain for Big. How much do they want to invest into this? We've still got one on the high ground, and surely it's too late now, but they keep peeking and keep getting smashed by the Kriegs. Tizian just about punishes the reload. The door is closed first, though, so his life is made harder. But what is there to do at this point, really?
Yes.
One that Jaw, maybe he goes for it. What are you celebrating there?
Zepex.
First kill.
Oh, he's on the scoreboard. Ah, welcome, Zepex.
Thing is, if he was in a 1v4 before this, he would have already had 4 kills.
Yeah.
The kills are too easy for him, which is why it's hard right now.
Device is killing everyone. He's just actually just murdering everyone.
The Krieg with a scope is almost like a mini game. It's like when you're playing one of those games and when it's loading, there's a different game to play.
Jack-em-all, yeah.
Right? It's just like it's like Space Invaders, like a modern version of Space Invaders, just looking for the things moving on the screen and popping them with the Krieg.
You feel like you have the most time in the world too. To just take your time aiming.
Yes, you don't feel pressure to pop someone like you do without the scope. I think a lot of people outside of Pro CS, you will use the Krieg as a crutch sometimes. I certainly will. Like if I think I'm not, doing it with the AK, then I'll just start scoping people with the Krieg, and it just dramatically changes how things are going. So, indeed, I think it does require the relevant level of investment at the very least. Zipex running into Mini, and it is an absolute slaughter. I missed those. Rob's had a few plays on mouse spots where he would slide on the roller shutter into the main position. Those were really really crispy plays.
Again, like another thing that Astralis did here is when they detect they're against a save or a half buy, they make the round really quick. And again, I think it's really important to understand how powerful that is. The more time you give pistols in the rounds, and the longer you take to get a bomb plant, the more likely it is that they will find some kind of success. They'll find a pick, they'll pick up a gun, they'll reposition, they'll figure out where you're going. But if you're able to just use the strengths of the T side to just trade into position into a bomb plant, at that point there's very little that can be done. Astralis really abusing that. Let's go for next. Can't find the follow-up though. The trade is there. Device, he's in garage already. This is really fast. It's almost as though he ran all the way there. Dangerous duel to take. He's not even scoping. He wants a challenge.
Yeah, it's like putting the stars up on Street Fighter on the SNES. He's giving himself a handicap.
20 kills already.
This is where you can call a 43 down.
Yeah, Device will get 43 kills.
I think you're absolutely right, by the way, Dan. That on the looks like against low buys on Nuke, Astralis wants to go really fast. This wasn't a low buy, but for all the other ones, they did go really fast. And it's funny because most pro teams, they'll change that on their game plan because they're getting owned in scrims going slow or something like that. It's like, hey, he's going slow on these anti-ecos are not working, guys. Let's just go fast. And then for a while, you just see them going super fast on these half and low buys. And it's funny, like the meta keeps changing for themselves just based on how scrims are going.
Right, right.
30 seconds remain. So they've given Big a chance to hang themselves, if you will, but smooya, he's playing to the bomb plant. He will take out dupreeh before he goes too far away, and that's half the information for Astralis. Now where is tabseN? That's the question. smooya down to 23 HP, picks up a Krieg, can't find an angle for the bomb planter. He's playing to win the round before the bomb goes down, but it has. tabseN, pretty good with the silence M4, but Glaive is ready for him on this occasion. And Astralis make it to double figures.
Another thing about like going fast and slow in rounds like that, you can take the approach that you mentioned before. That's a beautiful shot where you get the information, and that's how you set up the rounds. You have a push at the ready, and you have a guy going for info. And I see a lot of criticism to teams that go too fast, but I think it's more of I think that people just don't execute those fast rounds correctly. I think that's usually the problem more so than it being a bad idea.
Yeah, I agree with that.
It's actually easier to go slower in some instances, some situations. Nice shot from Next. I mean, they're hitting some like 1-leagues and stuff, but Astralis are just decimating them. Device is out of the round, so his teammates can get some kills this time. I wonder what Astralis think of the Kriegs, because this is the thing. They just get stronger in every single, it doesn't matter really what happens. There's something that comes in that's abusable, or if the economy changes 500 times. Astralis always are just as strong, or if not stronger.
It must be a good team or something.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, I love the 360 from XANTARES there. Sometimes people will come into my chat when I'm streaming and say, what would your dream team be? And I think it's a very traditional sports approach in that respect, like a golden 11 in football, for example. But I don't really think Counter-Strike works the same way, where it's like, oh, you can take these great players and put them together. My dream team is Astralis. They're the best team
Even in
by a significant margin. Why would you pick someone else?
even traditional sports, right? It's like it's very much just like a fan thing. Because I don't think has there been a situation in traditional sports where an all-star team actually
We have exhibition matches.
is extremely good?
Well, Real Madrid is basically an all-star team.
Because I know in basketball it never really worked out, right?
Real Madrid is your example, essentially. If someone is the best player in the world, they'll buy them. It's as simple as that. But I think I mean, it's fantasy, people having fun and so on, but for me, it's very hard for me to do that in Counter-Strike because it's so important to have wavelength and synergy. And I mean, you've seen FaZe Clan as the experiment of that, which hasn't always gone as far as you may have liked. So for me, dream team is Astralis.
Yeah, there's been a lot of failed teams because people can't get along. Nice shot from Glaive. Triple AWP on the T side of Nuke seems to be, pretty normal. Do they carry guns across? I think it looks like they did because Glaive's going to pick up a rifle there. Glaive with the M4 on the T side, of course.
Triple AWP on Nuke.
I love that because they had the money.
Do you?
Yeah, because if you have 3 AWPs posted up in 3 spots, if the CTs do any aggression on some of these like tight angles where they might be walk peeking or whatever it might be, they're gonna get railed, and they're not expecting to run into an AWP angle.
But
so
when they don't peek, then what happens?
And you just have a protocol. You get nothing by a certain time. You go get the guns and get some map control.
Oh, did they drop AKs?
Yeah, they had guns.
Yeah.
They had guns.
Oh, okay. Well,
waiting.
that's right. Fair enough.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like,
yeah, it's still.
if your money's out of control and you got just 2 rounds left, start spending.
I mean, you could just buy Kriegers instead, and you basically got a hybrid of both. So, well, I mean, it's fun, but I don't see a world where it makes sense.
Well, I mean,
When you have the Krieg as it is.
the Krieg and the AWP are not the same though.
They're not the same, but they...
XANTARES is the same as yesterday, it appears, but he just is not getting spots because Astralis are denying him. But my point is that, like, when you're... An AWP
You're
is...
trying to justify 3 ops on a T side
No,
of the buy.
I'm just saying, like, if you have $16,000 and there's 2 rounds left, you can have your rifles from the previous round, buy a bunch of AWPs, and then post up on some angles.
On Nuke.
And the CTs, the thing is, like, if the CTs are aggressive, you don't like, the way that you peek versus a rifle and versus an AWP is different.
But where would you post up?
I mean, it doesn't matter. Like lobby any pixel angles, pixel gaps. You could try to
You don't have pixel angles though. Like if you go hut, the CT's going to get there first.
From lobby to hut.
If the CT's, yeah, but you could do that with Krieg. I think like you could peek outside of an AWP.
I think going for
And
the
maybe
squeaky
ramp.
pick is good. Nading over squeaky, going for the mini pick.
Yeah.
And then maybe holding for the outside cross pick. And I don't know about the third one.
It's a crazy buy.
I like the idea of using the money a couple rounds before.
I just like pissing off the other team, I think.
Yeah,
The mental aspect of it.
psychological warfare.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. That's where it makes sense. It's like having the audacity to do it triggers people. Like having a name tag on your classic knife. Or, well, talk about it later because I don't want to. There's too much action in this last round. Pot flash play easily missed by XANTARES, but he can't track with the scoped in weapon. Not really used to using the scopes in such fashion, I imagine. And at close range, it kind of sucks when you have to do that.
Acceleration too. Scope weapons are weird.
Well, there's a chance for a 4th round here. tabseN's done some great damage, which can be followed up upon. smooya has some position, won't stop the bomb plant, but it's going to decon actually. Ooh, Tizian not very well equipped for the job. He is running distraction, which will prick Astralis' ears and make them wonder where the other player is. dupreeh looking in 2 directions. smooya waiting to play off of his teammate. The peak has to be perfect.
Oh, did he miss that molly? Looks like he may have missed that one. Might work out though, but Device is still alive. He's got 7 HP. Oh, this is scary. That fast peek with the MP9 not gonna work out. 25 kills in the first half of Device, 12-3 for the T side of Nuke from Astralis. I think it's almost expected. what a performance. We'll see if they can close it off quickly in the next half. We'll see you after the break.
Up your game. 128-tick servers for the smoothest, most responsive gaming experience ever. Ensure you game seamlessly with our state-of-the-art FACEIT anti-cheat. Track your progress with advanced stats within your community, country, or region. This is the true ranked experience. Sign up now at faceit.com.
We're back. 3 rounds for Big on their CT side. Not ideal. Maybe they can do the same. Maybe. Perhaps still shell-shocked after losing the pistol in 5 versus 2. Again, it is a pistol, and things can swing back and forth even in that situation very, very heavily. And now it's their chance to steal a pistol round. Take it by force. tabseN is the raid boss with the P250. He's got that range needed on the outside. Maybe they should have dropped 2, but they've got some plans with their utility, I do assume. Tizian deploys the smoke grenades for the main or mini position, depending on your region. And then a flashbang up high. And the T's will poke and prod. And Glaive will get shot in the face.
All Kevlars for Astralis. Device picking off 1 already. Magisk as well getting damaged. Device with another one. And the bomb's down on the ground. Couldn't make it across the secret.
Oh, no.
Next will get taken out as well.
Oh, yes.
It's gone very well indeed for Astralis. Device up to 27 kills now.
There might not be the round to get to 43 at this rate.
Yeah. It's true. 27 for 6.
God damn.
Come on, man. Come on.
dupreeh with the MP5. Does he have the danger zone skin though?
What's Device's ADR? Can we see that? 144. Jesus.
Ah, he's got a new one from the CS20 case. This is a nice one. I like it, but I'll have to drop the danger zone one. Because I am the danger
Wait,
zone.
did that do no damage? Oh no, it did do damage.
54 damage. 46 damage. It was chunky. Police stop. I think it is the FBI on Nuke as well, right?
Yeah.
So this is perfect. Nice setup he's got going. Zipex will stand his ground and cut these players to ribbons. York is back. Next will die as well, basically. That's the story. 14-3. Big have got a lot of work to do. And they may not be able to do it here on Nuke, but I think this was often going to be the case.
Man, can you imagine like a world where like if that like whenever that Project A game comes out, like Astralis, if there's a world, let's say, imagine where they can play this and that game, just be best at both games at once. I bet that would be possible.
Molly's all over the place. But still, there's a wall of smoke outside. Glaive will reposition. P250 on the way. Hampton takes it straight in the dome. 3 pistols remain. Big. I mean, if they are to lose this, which they probably are, I think it's fine to just get out of the way with a low score. Just like whatever. It's Astralis Nuke. We were never going to win it. Let's move on to the match that we can win.
It is interesting what coaches would say in this moment on big side, because it is. I was never the coach or the type of coach where I would do fake confidence.
Yeah.
If you're not playing well, you know, focus on what we could be doing better and what we were still doing well, and just keep moving on. But never like, yo guys, we can bring this back. Let's go. You know, 12 rounds against Astralis.
It's just patronizing, isn't it? It's just like just annoying your team.
Yeah.
It's emotionally exhausting.
I think it does annoy pro players more than it would now annoy maybe like an amateur team.
You just don't need to hear this.
Yeah.
I think I'd be a great motivational coach, especially when it's a disaster.
You're always motivated by what you can do as well. I think any individual that gets to the top level, that's just like the kind of person that you are. Like, what can I do? And then you start with the small things and build up. And we got a big thing in the hands of dupreeh. Anyone else? No, just dupreeh? Alright.
Also Sniperoo.
Glaive could have bought one, right?
It's great for no-scoping. It really is.
Is it 5k or 5500?
I have no idea.
I always forget, I just, buy this already. I know you need around 5k. I don't know.
You only buy it when you don't care about how much money you're spending, or you pressed the wrong button. You fat-fingered it.
That's a nice little angle. So is that.
This is great to do in this round, considering the next map is to come. Get the BM in there. Wholly unnecessary. All the more reason to do it.
Device has reached the 30 bomb.
Oh yeah.
It will surpass 30.
That's why sometimes I'll bait my teammates to get a knife kill.
See ya.
Because it's psychological warfare. It's annoying and it's stupid. And it gives you an advantage. And what an advantage Astralis will have moving into the next map. That is a